Today we're going to be seeing our good friend Vincenzo reacting to some carbonaras. This ought to be fun. And guys, be sure to check out Vincenzo's channel after seeing this. Now, let's get started.
Hi and welcome to Vincenzo's Plate. Today is going to be fun. I'm going to watch and react to 5 popular video recipes on YouTube. The video recipes are about carbonara. Oh my god, it's going to be fun. It's a video from Tasty. That's a page I don't really love, so that's my first reaction.
And it's always interesting to see Vincenzo's take on something because obviously Vincenzo, who has worked in the kitchen as well, he's seeing it more from an Italian perspective. So it's always good to have his opinion versus, let's say, my opinion, because my opinion may not be the same as Vincenzo's. It doesn't mean I disagree with him, it's just a difference of opinion.
Hi, my name is Ryan.
Looks like a nice guy.
I am going to try and cook carbonara pasta.
And I'm Claire, and I'm going to teach you how to cook carbonara.
I want to make sure there's a good amount of water in your pot as well. So now that the pasta is just softening up in the water, it's just enough that I can start moving it around and ensure. Even though the pancetta has a lot of fat that's going to render out, you still want to use a little bit of olive oil.
All right, well, so far, I mean, it doesn't seem like they're doing anything wrong. The only thing is, normally I like to cook off the guanciale before I cook the pasta and have things ready, you know, all the mise en place.
She's saying you have to use olive oil, extra virgin olive oil for the guanciale or pancetta. Yes, I do that too sometimes because if you don't have too much fat on your pancetta or guanciale, big cheek, you might need a little bit of oil, but in Italy they don't do it.
What Vincenzo's meaning by this is that normally when you get guanciale, it's very fatty, right? Because it comes from the cheeks. It will render in the pan and that will just cook it. If it's super dry, super lean, then obviously you're gonna have to add a little bit of fat, a little bit of olive oil to the pan to help cook it because it does need fat to be able to cook.
Parmesan is from a cow's milk cheese, so it's going to be a little bit more subtle than the Pecorino Romano.
Yeah, sorry my friend, if you want to do it right, you don't use Parmigiano. You need the rich, salty flavor of the Pecorino cheese. There's no other cheese you can use.
This I have to agree with Vincenzo. While I love Parmigiano Reggiano, it's a delicious cheese, it's super, super tasty. It's not the same as Pecorino. Pecorino, not Pecorina. There is a difference in Italian.
That's why we're going to use 2 different ones, because the Pecorino is going to be a little bit tangier. And I'm pretty much going to go half and half for this.
Okay, she's going half and half. Okay, that's acceptable. Half Pecorino, half Parmigiano. Yeah.
I'm going to put some egg yolks in here, as well as a few eggs. And to the eggs, so some recipes have garlic, some don't. So what I like to do is just kind of meet it in the middle.
I have a feeling Vincenzo's not gonna like this part.
Garlic is a no for carbonara. Carbonara is just eggs, pecorino, pepper, and guanciale or pancetta.
Jamie added garlic to his carbonara. You can add it if you want at home, it doesn't really matter. You know, you're not gonna get the Italian police banging at your door just because you happen to add garlic to your carbonara or just because you happen to break your spaghetti. It's not gonna happen. Maybe in Italy, but you know, in other places, maybe not.
I mean, how badly can I actually mess this up? We're both using the same ingredients.
This guy's good, I like him.
I'm gonna put this in, and I'm just gonna, wait a minute, this can't be right. This cannot be right. I was told not to go. You know what'll fix this? Is this cheese right here.
Throwing it out and starting over again, that's what'll fix it. Just take a bowl, put that over the pot of boiling water, make sure you know it's not too big, the pot of boiling water, and do the bain-marie method. That way you won't scramble the eggs.
He's trying to fix it, he's doing a good
You
job.
gave me 2 eggs. What else
Very
am I supposed to
creative.
do?
Okay, she managed to
So it's
cook.
definitely al dente, which is good. It still has a little bit of bite to it. And that's actually perfect. So if it's already totally cooked all the way now, it's going to be overcooked by the time you finish your sauce.
She didn't show us the most important part, which is when you switch off the stove, you put the pasta in there, and then you straight away put the water and the cheese. Well, the reason why it's important is because if you leave the cooktop on, you're going to create a scrambled egg.
This is why in a lot of restaurants, instead of going through this very tedious process of not scrambling eggs when you make a carbonara, they will use cream.
I think I'm ready to add my egg mixture. And you want to do this pretty quickly. So what you're going to do is kind of move the pot as you add this. Want a little bit of green at this point, you could put in a little bit of parsley here. And that is spaghetti.
No.
I could see his expression changing the moment that she mentioned parsley. You could just see it.
No, 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 no for parsley. I want to see the creamy carbonara. That's what is going to decorate our pasta, together with the guanciale or pancetta. You don't need any greens.
I'm into this. It's very good.
You see, it doesn't
Now
look
your
creamy.
next date, you'll know.
Very dry, my friend.
Oh,
You want the carbonara to be creamy. Okay, now we're going to watch
We're gonna see Gordon or Jamie.
Binging with Babish.
Right, so before we can make carbonara, we've got to make carbonara, which by definition is made with guanciale, a type of pork jowl.
The amazing thing with every single carbonara video is that everyone explains what guanciale is, which is not a bad thing. But I just find it so amazing that everyone explains what it is and where it comes from, when other recipes, you don't have this level of consistency with one of the ingredients.
It is very delicious, but a little hard to find, so if you can't find it, you can sub with pancetta if you're in a pinch.
I have to say that guanciale doesn't look right. Guanciale should look more like pancetta with a little bit more fat. Okay, so that looks more like ham.
Into a medium bowl or measuring cup goes 3 large eggs and 1 egg yolk for a little added richness.
Great, 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 great. I love this. You use the entire eggs and then you put the extra egg yolk for richness. Well said.
All right, so far Babish is doing good. Vincenzo's happy.
The only other thing you're going to want to add is a whole lot of freshly ground black pepper. We're not adding any salt yet because guanciale can vary in saltiness and we don't want to oversalt our dish.
I think Vincenzo did mention one time was a place in Rome where they actually feed the chickens carrots because it enriches the yolks even more, so it makes it even creamier.
As soon as the pasta's done, we're dumping it directly into the saute pan with the guanciale. You want to work quickly here because the only thing that's going to cook our egg slurry and make it smooth and creamy is the residual heat from the pasta.
Ooh, okay. It didn't switch off the cooktop. It is extremely, extremely important at this point you switch off the cooktop. Otherwise, there is a high percentage that you're going to create scrambled eggs pasta.
Just add a little bit of cream to it. No, but it's true. You do want to turn off the heat, especially if you're using the direct method. So you could do the bain-marie method, which is safe, or you could do direct heat method, which is this.
Taste for seasoning, mine needs a little bit of salt. Then you can optionally toss the pasta.
You just added salt. I don't think you need to add salt. Guanciale is salty, the pasta is salty, pecorino and parmigiano is salty. You don't need salt at the end.
No, just add more cheese to it. It'll add the saltiness. Plus, it'll make it creamier.
And finally, it's time to plate up. I like to use a carving fork to twirl the pasta into a giant cylinder like this one.
I've never seen using a carving fork. I like it. I'm gonna do it.
There you have it, folks. I'm going to say it one last time. Carbonara.
It looks good. I really enjoyed it. Just a couple of things you need to change, but no, it's pretty good. I'm not gonna watch the modern carbonara.
Oh, I think Vincenzo knew that he was going to see something he didn't want to see, and out of respect, he said no.
Here we go. We have tasty again. Parsley. Olive oil, okay. Bacon, no. Guanciale or pancetta.
Well, it's not just that they're using a lot of bacon, but look at the amount of oil and fat that's in the pan. That's a lot.
Garlic. No. No garlic. Look at that. Looks burned. No more garlic. Chicken stock.
They added chicken stock to this. What are they creating? A soup? Why do they add so much chicken stock to this?
What have they done? Chicken stock in carbonara.
I don't think he was actually speechless. I think there were some other words said that his editor may have cut out. I don't know what words they may have been, but I'm sure they were in Italian.
Che schifo. Che schifo.
Heavy cream. Okay, do you know why chefs had started using cream many years ago? Because by the time it goes from the kitchen to the table, and then the people talk on the table, it might take maybe 5 minutes for the person to eat it. The carbonara will get stuck together. And at the same time, I believe not many people know how to do the right carbonara, just using eggs.
There are multiple reasons why chefs started to just use cream instead of eggs. If you mess it up when you have a lot of tickets, what's easier? Adding a little bit of cream to a pasta to make it creamy, or you're going to have to perfect that one dish, especially if they don't know how to cook it, and they can mess it up easily.
No, why the parsley? Everything is wrong. Maybe the only thing I can accept in this video is parsley, nothing else.
Lemon zest. I can just imagine what he's thinking right now looking at this.
Okay, now we're watching a popular recipe from Guga Foods, and they are making Wagyu Black Truffle Carbonara. It sounds really good.
All right, we're gonna do Guga with black truffle carbonara. This is actually the carbonara that I made on my channel, by the way. So if you guys wanna go see how I made my carbonara, check that video out. Vincenzo hasn't reviewed it yet.
This is black truffle. Unlike the canned stuff, black fresh truffle is completely different. I've had the canned stuff before, but nothing compared to the real deal. You're eating Wagyu, it has already a tremendous amount of fat, so always save the extra.
So this guy is using the Wagyu fat to replace the guanciale and the pancetta. This sounds very interesting.
All right, so this is not gonna be a traditional like carbonara. All right, not bad. Let's see how it turns out.
For my pasta, this is the one. I got this one straight from Italy, and as you can see, it has black truffles infused into the pasta. If you are unable to find this one, I recommend you using any pasta you like, as long as it has a rough texture. If the pasta is smooth, it won't catch the sauce.
Yes, if the pasta is smooth, it won't catch the sauce.
Most of the store-bought pasta is actually put through non-stick dyes, which do not create that nice rough texture on the pasta.
Well said.
As I'm going all out, I'm not going to be using regular cheese. This is the real deal. It is Parmigiano Reggiano from Italy.
Guga, I really like you. You're a good guy, and I really like what you say. You cook well. But pecorino, in this case, I always go for pecorino, but especially now that you have Wagyu, which is very delicate, you want a rich cheese, and the pecorino is what you want.
The pecorino will go very well with the Wagyu. Guga is going to be using black truffle though, and black truffle, if you add a lot of it, it can be very powerful. Like, it will add flavor to the dish.
Start with 3 egg yolks, beat them fine, then added my cheese.
Okay, he's a chef who likes to use egg yolks. I believe to keep it traditional, in my recipe I always do carbonara with the entire egg, because in the old days nothing was going to waste, and the original recipe used the entire egg. But lots of chefs today, lots of modern chefs, they tell you to use egg yolk. So he's not doing anything wrong, he's choosing to use egg yolk. I like to use the whole egg.
If you just do egg yolks, it can be richer because obviously egg yolks have more color to them. If you add more egg whites, it can dilute that color, so it's up to you.
If you've never made carbonara sauce, the trick is to boil your pasta. Once that's done, drain it but reserve a little bit of the pasta water. In a saute pan, you would throw the pasta in, then
Well said, this guy is so good.
the sauce that was just made, and throw in the pasta water until you get the consistency you're happy with. The biggest tip I'm going to give you is to keep mixing so you can emulsify everything together into a sauce.
Like, first of all, the pasta looks a little bit overcooked, right? It looks like it's very overcooked. The second thing though is he using bucatini? The bucatini is the type of pasta that it looks like a little straw. It's actually hollow.
Keep in mind that you can always add more water, but you can never take it out.
What's gonna happen now? The meat looks fantastic. Good creation. I really like the creation. Truffle is perfect. Everything is perfect.
We have our
Right, now we go for the grill.
beautiful pasta here. What do you think, Angel?
Well, it looks crazy.
It does look crazy. It looks good, but I have to say I will use the same pasta, same cheese is okay. The truffle, oh my god, beautiful creation. Just the meat, I don't think it will give you the right carbonara flavor. I will just stick to the guanciale or pancetta again. I find the meat a bit too soft, which is not gonna give you the same texture of bacon, pancetta or guanciale. And I think bacon is much better that way. So I think I can use Wagyu for bolognese, for any type of sauce, maybe a nice red sauce to go with it. But the way it is, it looks a bit too dry to me. But the guy said it. It's a Wagyu black truffle carbonara. It's a wow pasta, and it is a wow pasta. Well done, Guga. I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna try and make it perfect.
I mean, from what we can see, we didn't see a super close-up of the finished product for very long, but it looks good. I mean, it looks okay. I'm sure it was still tasty, and trust me, if you get a nice steak, Wagyu steak with that, well, it's still gonna taste good. It's not gonna taste the same because, one, we're using, instead of pork, we're using beef.
It's a video by the grandfather of Italian cuisine, Mr. Antonio Carluccio. He can't go wrong, right? Let's see.
I am Antonio Carluccio. Welcome to my kitchen.
Is he the one, though, that taught Jamie on how to make carbonara or how to cook Italian cuisine?
I show you how to make the real carbonara. Most of the people, they get it wrong, and I will show you why. Now, this is
Such a great guy.
water.
All right, just from what we saw so far, that looked perfect. That looked like a perfect carbonara.
To which we add, in the ratio of 10 grams per liter of water, salt. Has to be like this.
We really miss him.
And immediately then we put in, has to be boiling, a pasta. In this case is sort of spaghettoni, the biggest size of spaghetti.
See how important this is? He's not using spaghetti, spaghettoni, which is thick, square spaghetti. They absorb the sauce more and they are the right pasta.
When you see two Italian chefs talk about pasta, carbonara and everything, it's fun to watch, it really is. Because then they start talking about the technicalities with the pasta. Now in Italy, this is a very big deal. It is a culture within itself, within Italy. Just the pasta. Not even talking about the pizza, the risotto and everything else.
10 minutes and no oil, please.
You don't need to waste your oil in your pasta, water, never, never. Okay, you just need to use a large pot and that's how you do it. That's how you cook it.
We've seen even Gordon Ramsay use oil in his pasta water before, and Jamie and a lot of chefs. It's very typical. It's a waste of oil.
Now for the original carbonara, you need the guanciale, which is the cheese, the pork cheese.
See, it is important. You have to use guanciale. It is tender on the inside and crunchy on the outside.
And the only thing you have to do now to make the sauce is to take good olive oil, put it in the pan.
Now, I want to say one thing about the Godfather, because I do use the oil as well, okay? Extra virgin olive oil, if my guanciale is not like the Italian one. This guanciale looks very fatty. There's lots of fat on it, so maybe you can avoid to add the oil because the fat will create a lot of oil.
A lot of Italians, also Spanish, they tend to cook with extra virgin olive oil. Now, in northern countries, we don't tend to cook with the extra virgin olive oil, one, because it's more expensive, and two, it's the virgin olive oil. This is the first press. This oil is typically used for dressings, vinaigrettes, and salads. Since moving here to Spain, I have to admit that I have started using extra virgin olive oil more to cook with.
To be a little bit naughty, I take just the yolk. This, you don't add any cream, absolutely forbidden.
Forbidden. No cream in your carbonara. It's forbidden.
You know, I don't know how much I would have paid to see Jamie Oliver cooking with Antonio here.
Woo! Yeah! So we put a bit of Parmesan. In Roma, they use also pecorino cheese, which is a cheese to be grated. They are fresh pecorino and aged pecorino. But it's lovely to have a little bit of this.
See, what he's saying is right, also to your taste. You want to use Parmigiano because it's more delicate, I understand. Also, you know, Antonio's from the north of Italy, which is Parmigiano, is more popular than Pecorino. Everyone says in the UK, in Australia, in America, that you want to balance it out with the Parmigiano. Okay, I don't understand that.
I wouldn't put any salt here because the...
Here's the thing. I have known Italians from the north part of Italy and from the south. The friends that I have from the south, while they still eat risotto and everything, it's like one of those things. Depending on where you grew up, you are going to be more of a connoisseur with one type of cuisine or the other. In comparison, in the north, you may get somebody that may not critique a pizza as much as somebody from Napoli.
Bacon here, it's quite salty. Should you be not wanting the fat, I show you a little trick. Here we are. And do this. You absorb a little bit of fat.
If you have a lot of oil though, just a few paper towels is not really going to do it. You may need to pour some out. You can pour some into a little container, yeah, to save it. That way you can use it if you need it a little later on.
The pasta seems to be doing well here. The taste now should be enough. I switched off the guanciale because it's too hot, and it's exactly what I don't want to be too hot.
Yes, thank you, master. You don't want the pan to be too hot. Yes, hot, but you have to switch it off. Otherwise, you get scrambled eggs.
You let it cool down in doing this, and it shouldn't be too hot because what is going to happen now should be the temperature enough to coat the egg around the pasta.
I just want to eat it now. I want to eat it.
It's a good thing that Uncle Roger's not seeing this right now with the little pinchers.
Hiya!
You don't want to be using this on a non-stick pan, but from the aspect of what he's saying about the carbonara, I think Vincenzo is going to be so happy about this.
And now it comes the pièce de résistance, the actual sauce. And now we stir it like this. And now the last touch,
beautiful.
Parmesan or pecorino, depending what you like. And in my opinion, also a nice touch of pepper. This is pecorino.
Of course, it's a must.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Love it, love it. Beautiful presentation. This is the way I grew up eating it. Just one thing, we have evolved, and to make it perfect now in these days, carbonara should be made with a creamy, must be extremely creamy, okay? I have an old recipe of carbonara where I make the same way Antonio just did. It's a bit, not drier, but it doesn't have that much cream, okay? But now I've evolved like everybody else, and I make my carbonara very creamy.
If you want to make it creamier, add more eggs, all right? Increase the amount of sauce that you have. This way it won't dry up as quickly. Also, you can add a little bit of extra cheese to it. This will help. Don't add any cream. No cream. Maybe just a dash so it doesn't split on you.
The real carbonara.
It is the real one.
And it's exactly how should it be, creamy, without adding cream, because this is the usual saying. Like this is just fantastic.
Just fantastic. Just fantastic. There's nothing wrong to that. Nothing wrong to it. I was just saying you can make it a little bit more creamier, but this is perfect. So here we had 5 different versions of carbonara. The tasty ones didn't like it. The basic with Babish was pretty good, not perfect.
I have a feeling that obviously Antonio did the best. It looked the best.
The Wagyu carbonara with the truffle, ooh, that's something I really want to try. Maybe without the Wagyu, or maybe just use the Wagyu fat. And Antonio is just beautiful to watch. So if you want to watch a recipe, just watch Antonio, because he does the perfection. He does it perfect.
If you want to check out any collabs with Vincenzo and I, be sure to check those out.
Oh, it's just thicker.
Things are better when they're thicker.
Hiya! Uncle Roger trying to make family-friendly video.
Of puree. I put a little oregano in, 2 or 3 bay leaves. I also like to add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, a good gloopy glue in there.
Be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video as well, but be sure to check out Vincenzo's channel after seeing this and say hi for me. Until then, take care.